Welcome back to an AI dungeon adventure. I have been taking a break for a week because of school reasons. I moved to another city and then I moved back, so I had to move my PC and equipment back and forth. But now I'm all settled down and I didn't actually have the motivation or energy to make a lot of stuff the last week because a lot of things were happening at once, so I needed to focus on life and other activities. But now I'm finally back and ready to head deeper into Ghared's journey. I'm so glad to be back here and making videos again. It's always a blast. And as always, the portrait that you see on your screen right now is my brother's artwork of Ghared, the character of this story. It's really cool, and you can find him on Patreon/Spiham or Instagram/Spiham, where you can find his other comics and artworks. You can even read his free-to-read comic on Patreon. It's a win-win. It's free and it's a comic. So make sure to consider doing that. It would really be awesome to see you guys support in other ways too. So without any further ado, welcome. Let's head in to chapter 6. Okay, so last time we left off when we found the small man that we mistook for a kid, and he welcomed us to his little hut where we could seek shelter until the rain had passed. We're currently on our way to Milne, so this is just a small pit stop before we continue on our journey. So the first thing we should do is sorry, I'm having a reserved chair because I couldn't move my original chair back yet, so I'm using one that makes a lot of noise. So if you hear this squeaky sound, it's just my chair, and I'm sorry. I'm gonna try to be as quiet as possible, but okay. Let's stay professional now. Yeah, let's thank him. What was his name again? Did we ever get his name? Well, I guess I'll just say thanks for the shelter, little man. Thanks for the shelter. We really appreciate it. No problem, happy hunting. You leave the small... okay, I'm gonna retry. Oh, I've not missed the thousands of times I have to retry these segments, man. That's one thing I haven't missed with having a small break. I missed everything else, like the music, the gameplay, interacting with you guys, recording all of this. But the AI... I think I'll never miss this AI, man. It's so problematic. And it never fucking changes either. To be fair, some scenarios have been really, really great, but yeah. They are rare, to be honest. Thanks for the shelter, really appreciate it. Of course, the man takes up his position behind the door. So now what, you ask? Now you wait, I guess, he says. Well, that's acceptable. Let's wait. And that's it? What happens if they attack, you say? Well, I killed them. What the fuck? Does the dragon man... What? Well, that doesn't sound so bad, you say. I'm going to take a nap. Wake me if anything important happens, he says, laying down on one of the beds. I'm gonna insert something in the story here. Your crew settle down and takes a nap. Oh shit. You decide to join them on the rainy night. I'm just gonna write night falls upon us. It's just such a good way to describe that. A day pass. Soon after, a piercing scream pierces the dead of night. Wake up, you say. Your crew is awake and ready to respond. You open the door and see a dragon staring at you. Should we go with this? Should we go with this? Let's just see what the AI does next, and if it's ridiculous, I'm just gonna retry it. By the Emperor, you say, slamming the door shut. The dragon bursts forward and you hear the door break, but you can't open. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna retry that one. It's kind of stupid. A little later. Wake up, the warden. I am the warden. Come on. You drift into a deep sleep, wondering about your family and if they're all right. Oh, I'm thinking about my family back in Boltonbrook. Maybe I'm thinking about my brother Reagan. Who knows? A scream pierces the night, followed by loud explosions in the distance. The warden wakes up and grabs his weapon. What was that? I think it was the nomads, one of the soldiers. Okay, I'm gonna remove this segment, but I'm gonna keep the first sentence because that was pretty nice. Then you're awoken by a great rumbling. The hut shakes and the bed shakes with it. Hell, you mumble and get up. The man is standing next to you. He looks terrified. The small man, I assume. Okay, this is acceptable. Go outside and check out the rumbling. You go outside and check out the rumbling. You walk outside and the sky above is cloudy. The moon is not yet bright enough to illuminate your surroundings. To the south you see a faint blue light. You begin walking south. Well, that's kinda unfortunate because we're headed north, so retry. You get up and walk outside. The rumbling has become more intense and you can see the dragon passing. Why is the AI so obsessed with me meeting a dragon right now? The ground begins to shake and an ominous growling noise fills your ears. Okay, you know what? This is okay, because we don't have to interact with the dragon. We can just assume that the dragon is flying above us, like intimidating us by how big and how fearful, how dangerous it is. But we don't actually need to encounter a dragon battle just yet. So if this is it, it's okay. I can deal with it. Let's say I've never seen a dragon before. Because I don't think I have. I've seen trolls and I've seen giants, but I've seen them. They're ugly creatures, the man says. Yeah, he's a hunter, so I bet he's met a couple of dragons in his career. They are ugly indeed. Okay, so we're just watching the dragon. It isn't actually attacking us. Retry it. The dragon passes overhead and emitting a deafening roar. The man and you both find yourself on the ground, hands over your ears. Oh, it's like a shriek. That's painful. Okay. Yeah, this is really descriptive and, you know, paints us a picture of what is happening. I got no problem with this. You wake up the rest and tell them that we need to go. We need to kind of hurry now. Dragons is starting to arrive, so this is explaining, like, this is really telling us how dangerous the world's starting to become. You wake up the rest and tell them that we need to go. We quickly make our way through the wilderness towards the nearest town. And I'm gonna remove it towards the nearest town and keep that one. Okay, so we said bye to the man. This is okay. I didn't expect the man to become a vital point to the story, so it was just a scenario, and now move forward, just like life, you know. Not everything is supposed to be important. Okay, so let's just continue. We're on our way to Mill right now, so yeah. The dragon continues to pass overhead. You find yourself sprinting fast as you can while carrying a heavy pack on your back. Retry. The dragon still flies overhead. It's roaring, drawing ever closer. You wish you had something to scare it with, but your only weapon is your... Can we just leave the dragon for now? After a few hours of walking, you come across a group of huts. We need to get off the road, you say. Should we trust him? The man asks. Okay, maybe the man is following us through the marshes. I guess that's logical. The dragon's trail is easy enough to follow. The wilderness is devastated. Trees have been set aflame and lay broken and charred, their leaves burned away. Hey, okay, this is nice details. I can accept this. The world is starting to tear itself apart. You know, I'm just commenting on, like, the state of our world right now. Gotta involve myself in the story a bit. As is often the case, the man replies. The man looks at you as he checks his map. Well, thank you for guiding us through the the marshes. I think we can manage to get to Milne by ourselves now. The man sighs. He's obviously disappointed that you're turning down his help, but nods and says, "As you wish." We trek through the marshes for the rest of the day. Okay, I'm gonna write something now that I've been kind of planning, so I'm just gonna take over the story for a bit. We arrive at some kind of valley. The marshes stops and woodlands starts to show. We look down on the huge marsh that we used all day to cross. And on the other side is a huge forest is a huge forest. Yeah, sure. So we're like in the middle of a huge valley with two mountain tops on each side, and behind us is the marshes, and in front of us is a huge forest. So I'm gonna give you some atmospherical details, so it's easier to imagine what's going on right now. And I'm sorry for this being a bit of a mess, but yeah, I haven't made a video in a week now, so it's a bit unusual from making one video a day to taking a break. It might get a bit messy, but please just bear with me. We look down on the huge marsh that we used all the way to cross. On the other side is a huge forest. You can see the band of dragon riders in the distance. They must be able to see you too, since some of them are on the horseback and others are on foot. The band of dragon riders. The man is not with us now, so I'm just gonna remove this. The band of dragon riders? You walk over to the man and tell him you're not going through the forest. I'm gonna retry. To the left, in the distance, is the fortress of Milm. Okay. Wow. We can see Milm. Great. I'm good with this. We've traveled for a long time now, so finally seeing like the silhouette of Milm in the distance, I think that's a motivational booster for me and my team. It is a very large walled fortress, much like the one we're heading to. Well, it is like the one we're heading to, so I'm gonna remove that stupid line. It's a very large walled fortress. With how big it is, you would think it has a whole company garrison, but instead it looks like it only has a small platoon. There are probably not more than 100 men there to defend it. Oh, so a lot of men is probably out fighting the war and recruiting in certain areas, especially in Agadori. So I assume that every city and fortress in Kedar is kind of at a loss for soldiers right now. So this makes sense. There, everyone, I can see Milm. You all look and see a massive walled city far below. We're trying. Everyone stops and looks up at the mountainside to see where you're pointing. At the top is a large fortification made of stone. It is somewhat battered, but still intact. Okay, so we got Milm in sight. Let's just go. Let's go. We are no less than a day from it. I guess that's the right way to say it. Let's go. We are no less than a day from... Yeah, sure, let's go. We ride towards the fort. As we get closer, you see that there are encampments on both sides of the roads. There are no sign of the enemy though. We walk. We don't have horses. Oh no! We do have horses. I'm sorry. Wow, the AI actually outsmarted me there. Oh shit, I'm sorry. We do have horses. That's true. We bought them in Arcatra, right? When you're within half a mile of the fort, a single man on horseback rides out to greet you. It's Captain Anu. He's been promoted and transferred since you last met. He looks tired. Wow! Really good job by the AI. I imagine that this is a guy that I met while I were enlisted in the army. You know, because Ghared went to the military academy and then proceeded to become not a royal guard but elite guard, like the grade beneath royal guard. So Captain Anu could be an old teammate. That's a really cool story detail. And now he's gotten promoted and transferred, so he's the captain of Milne Fortress. I love it. Anu, great to see you. It's been 2 years since last time. How are you? But again, this is also a good description of how the world is in such a bad shape now, because he you know, Ghared meets Anu, who's an old friend, and the first thing that Ghared acknowledges is that Anu looks tired, that he's just exhausted. It's a good detail. It's depressing, but it's pretty real, you know. Captain Anu, it's been 2 years. How are you? I am well, Warden, and you? Good, good. I'm glad to see that Agadori is not abandoned. Can say Milne is not abandoned. Jesus, this chair, man. I'm so sorry if this is interfering with the video. No, not abandoned, just undermanned. You and Anu talk for a while about the current situation of things. Okay, so we have a problem here. We can't ask Anu about Ghared, because then Anu is gonna find Ghared and we won't be able to interrogate Ghared ourselves, because the military is gonna do it for us. So, but he's an old friend, maybe? Could you do me a favor? No, you know what? No, okay, let's do it. A favor. I need to find a criminal called Ghared. But it has to be between the two of us. Do you have any clues? Let's see if he's willing to help us. He thinks for a second before answering. Not off the top of my head, but I can try to find out. Thank you, Captain. Wow, okay, Anu's gonna help us. Anu is a real friend here. Very nice. Okay, I'm gonna just let my crew know. Tell my crew that Anu will search for clues about Ghared's whereabouts. We wait. Hours pass. The captain has not returned yet. You begin to get nervous. Captain, are you... wait. Retry. After some time, the captain returns in hand. I did find something, but I'm not sure how helpful it is. He hands you a small pouch of coins. What's this for? You ask. That's your payment. I found that the criminal we were looking for has taken up residence at an inn called the Demon's Claw. I even have the name of the innkeeper. I don't need any payment. This is my job and my job alone. Keep the bounty, friend, and let me have him. So he's given us payment because Ghared is a wanted criminal. Makes sense. Oh, alright then. You nod. You decide to get some rest, as the stomachs of pain won't stop twisting themselves into knots. Wow, that's really yeah, graphic. Let's remove that. Oh, alright. Oh, okay, you know what? Let's just retry. He looks a bit surprised, but soon regains his composure. Very well, glad to hear it. He turns and spurs his horse back to the fort. Okay. Dragon's Claw it is. Enter Milne. I'm so glad to finally be able to write Enter Milne. You gallop into the city of Milne. Your horse runs at full speed through the city streets, the people giving way for you as you ride through. Me and my crew behind me, you know. You can imagine how delightful this seems. Finally arriving here. As you near the city center, you slow your horse to a walk as you approach the Emperor's Palace. Horse to walk. Nah, retry. You cut through an alley and slow your horse to a trotting pace. You notice a large band of people marching. They don't look happy. Looks like the Kedar are preparing for war. Again, beautiful world detail. You look at the city. Let's get some more details about Milne. The city of Milne is a mixture between Gothic and Roman architecture. The people look nativist, Roman armor mixed with tribal jewelry and odd hairstyles. Yeah, because we're really far north now. So we're kind of through the Viking area, and now we find ourselves in like a new type of area with you gotta remember that Milne is an ancient city. It's been there for a very long time. It's always been the main garrison. So that people keep ancient hairstyles, I think it's natural, and that the architecture is like Roman-ish. Roman isn't a thing in this world, but the Roman is a thing in our world, so we can imagine Roman architecture and Gothic architecture on top of it. So it's like it's been rebuilt several times, showing that the ancient city has improved over time and been there for a long period. Search for Dragon's Claw Inn. You gallop toward the city, soon reaching it. The city is massive and building... okay, we don't need that one. You walk along the road for a while, before seeing the inn. It's a fairly large building, wooden and 2 stories. You rejoin recent conversations on the forums. What the fuck? You enter the inn. A large burly man stands behind a bar. He smiles as he sees you. Ah, ye are pleased to see ya. Come around and let me take your bag. Okay, retry. That's kind of stupid. You enter the inn and look around. The inn seems fairly empty, certainly not as full as it usually is. You notice a man cleaning a large blade on a pole. Guys? Ghared? Question mark? He looks up and quickly wipes his blade with a rag. Who are you? He speaks with a heavy accent, though you can't quite place it. I'm looking for Ghared. Please, please, please. We're traveling so far. I am he. Yes! Whew! You're not quite sure how to respond, so we simply state your name and rank. You're a captain in the Emperor's army. I'm not. I'm not. Okay. Now I want you all to lean back. I've got something prepared. So soon I'm gonna cut the screen off to something else. But we'll just have to get into conversation with him first. I am looking for information on how to stop the nomadic merchant that is summoning the dark god Morgwick. Oh, Morgwick. Let's still be calm. This is a wanted criminal after all. He seems to think for a moment. I can help you, but it is dangerous. I'll take any information on the man that will help me stop him. If you tell me, I won't turn you in. Me and my crew are ready for anything. He thinks for a moment, but soon, sensing your seriousness, begins to tell you everything he knows. Okay. Remove this. Lean back. And enjoy.
I'm not just a criminal. My name is Ghared, and I'm an historian. I was made a criminal because I possess this knowledge. Knowledge hidden away from society. Knowledge you are not supposed to know about. But if you so-called heroes have managed to come this far, I will share it with you, if you wish. In the age of the gods, the dark god Morgwick roamed freely after defeating every god that was left in this world. Humans feared him, and with no gods remaining, they had to fight him alone. This fight is remembered as the Battle of False Gods. The men recruited an army bigger than ever before. 40,000 men arrived, commanded by 4 leaders: Reginald, Alahir, Harstein, and finally, Yoshitaro. Before the battle, all 4 leaders agreed to make a weapon out of the extremely rare material called Ashimir, made by the gods themselves. When the gods lived in harmony before Morgwick rampaged and destroyed them, they created this material. The gods used to spectate and helped make the world a solid place for humans to live. But the gods feared that they would become too rich on their power and created this material called Ashimir, so that humans could fight back if the gods ever turned against them. Ashimir was the only mineral able to destroy the gods. The gods created only a small dose of this material, and this would be forgotten by society until this very day. The four leaders started acquiring as much Ashimir as possible. Reginold created a sword, Alahir a spear, and Harstein an axe. They were prepared to face Morgic with their newly forged weapons, but the Dark God easily realized that the weapons were made out of Ashimir, and pulled them out of their hands and destroyed them in front of them. Yoshitaro, however, chose not to create a weapon out of Ashimir, but instead experiment with it. He wanted to see its true potential and turned his share of Ashimir into dust. He grabbed a piece of paper and sprinkled the dust over the scroll, and suddenly words started showing on the parchment, words that only a god could read. Yoshitaro sprinkled the last of his Ashimir dust in his eyes, which turned him blind. All his eyesight were lost. The only thing visible for him were the words on the scroll. At the battlefield, all hope was nearly lost. The weapons were destroyed. Morgic had the upper hand. But then, he came. Yoshitaro opened his scroll and read the words. Nagulimas sashta, yaguhul me avaloth, tek you batsiz dashemer. And the tale ends here. Morgic was banished to the realm of darkness, and Yoshitaro, the shogun of the east, kept the scroll hidden away for centuries. It has not been identified or seen until this day. Some say he took it with him to the grave, but no one knows where he's buried. The nomadic merchant has made a deal with the darkness and forced Morgic back into this world, and the only way to defeat him is by traveling to the eastern lands and obtaining the Scroll of the Blind Shogun. That is all I know. If you wish to save this world, go to the east, find it, and help the people. But you know what risks lay in front of you. Are you willing to lose everything to save this cruel, pointless world?